Look at this. Gwen Stefani back on the world famous KROQ.
Boom. Here we are, guys. Back on KROQ. What? We were talking about earlier, like, how extremely big fans we were as kids of KROQ, right? And like we used to go to the skating rink to see Richard Blade, and well, it happened one time, but I'm saying like it was like it's like the first time I ever heard Red Corvette like by Prince was on KROQ.
That's incredible.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And just all of that music, it was such an incredible inspiration, like life inspiration, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every morning, the Breakfast Club, show, all of it. Like,
yeah.
We knew all the DJs. Like,
that's amazing.
bam.
And now you're back. This is like I would imagine like visiting your home ec teacher in high school or something.
Yeah, that would be actually fun. I learned how to make chocolate cake from her.
All over again. Well, you're back for a good reason. We're here to talk about Bouquet, the new album from you. And I guess let's just get down to where you were when you made this album, because it sounds like you're in a beautiful place in your life. And you had these gorgeous things to say to People magazine I was reading last year about just this escape, if you will, to Oklahoma and just how positive it's been. And you really feel like maybe you're finally where you have always wanted to be and where you belong. How has that disposition informed the album?
Well, I mean, it's weird because I know everyone's like, oh, it's been so long. And it has, but it went so fast. Like there was so much destruction that happened about 10 years ago in my life. And like that takes a lot of healing, like a lot of picking up the pieces. And, you know, then there was COVID. And like during that time period, I felt like I got really inspired. Like I really wanted to write a new record, and I wanted to make something like joyful and happy. And I'm going to make a reggae record. I'm going to make a ska record. Like I was getting nostalgic because I think we all went through like those, like that COVID brain, like what's happening. Like it was really a game changer for our lives, you know? And I was sitting in Oklahoma, and it was kind of like the end of it. And we were just about to open up again, and Kelly Clarkson was like texting me all these like songs she'd written, and I was like, "Hey, you're getting me jealous. Like, when do you write these? Like, she has the babies. I'm like, when are you writing?" She's like, "Oh, I stay up all night," and I'm like, "What? Like, how?" And meanwhile, I'm like doing homeschool and like trying to, do the whole thing, making the bread, all the stuff we were doing. But I ended up going in the studio. But I think I was like really chasing the wrong direction, like not knowing how to not repeat myself, or, even like trying to find the right room, like with the right collaborators. Like we all have chemistry with each other, like I'm a certain person with you than I am with maybe her, but I'm also the same person, but like maybe I feel more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, totally.
Especially when it's such an intimate thing and you're trying to find like, it's one thing to be like a kid and try to find your identity through music, and then it's just there and you get it, and it's like the Tragic Kingdom comes out, right? But it's like, every time you have to evolve on. And at this point in my life, I'm like, what is that, And then I finally wrote Purple Irises, and that was crazy because I went in the room with this young girl. She's just like a cool LA girl artist called, oh my God, now I'm blanking. Nico. Nico, I love you so much, because Nico was like, my mom used to listen to No Doubt. Like, it's just like so interesting to meet a girl that's like an artist, like right now, like a songwriter that's so confident and so open to letting me be myself. And like, it was just like a safe place with her. And when we wrote that first song together, I was like, okay, like she's letting me like have space in the room. Like it was just like it just landed finally,
Yeah.
And I knew like sonically like where I wanted to go finally. And yeah, so I had written like a lot of songs before I landed and picked these songs for the Bouquet, because I wanted it to be honest, and I wanted it to be pure, and I wanted it to be not competing with me, not competing with everyone else that's happened. I just wanted it to be an piece of art,
Yeah.
like pure. And so I feel like I got there, and it's like, it's really emotional, because like just sharing it is another level, because like when you write the songs, they're speaking back to you in that emotional way, like, oh, I didn't even know I was really saying that. Now when I hear it different. Like it's therapy, And then when you share it and then someone else responds like the way you want them to, or what you're trying to say, they understand it, or they like appreciate it, or they are going through that, you're like, oh, it's just so healing. Music is so cool.
Well, it's incredible to hear all of that and hear the context and realize you've whittled it down somehow to the 10 tracks that we're going to get when Bouquet officially comes out, of course, November 15th. And I love the lyrics on these, and I'm kind of a lyric geek myself.
You
and,
are?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's funny. You probably are like this too. You know people in your life. Some people, it really is like the beat, right? It's the music that speaks to them.
Yeah.
For me, it's always been the writing. It's always been the
Me
lyrics.
too.
And so the opening line of somebody else's, I think, is just my favorite kind of lyric is that when you can capture the sentiment of what you're trying to express, right, perfectly, which is probably always the goal. And that first opening line of somebody else's of what was a heart like mine doing in a love like that. And it's just, it's something we can all relate to, where that sense of losing yourself along the way of life at times. Talk to me about writing that song and that lyric.
Okay. It's kind of a loaded question because I had worked with this girl, Madison Love, who was the other super cute, hi Madison, girl, talented, beautiful, like everything girl, right? And when I walked in the room, I'm like, who is this girl? You know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's like I walked in here and started writing a song with you. Like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
I don't know how people do it.
It's so scary. And she was very like, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that, maybe it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, let me think. Like, I don't know, like, I don't even know you, right? But then all of a sudden, the trust starts happening, and I start seeing how unbelievably gifted she is. It's like ridiculous, right? And just confident and like cool and stylish, like everything that you want in a girl, like is this girl, Madison Love. And so this particular song is like after we had written a bunch of songs together, she texts me. And I hate this when people do this. They're like, I wrote a song. Like, and I'm like, I don't even want to open this song because I know that, like, what if I don't like it? And then I'm going to have to say, Madison, like, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? And so, and subject-wise, I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't want to talk about that. Like, I'm good. But long story short, it was just such a good idea, and it was so written for me about everything that we had talked about in all these sessions, and the fact that it was so right and so spiritually right that she handed me the song, because this record needed to show the dark of what I'd been through to show where the love grew into. Like, it's like I wanted this record so bad to heal me, but I needed to, I didn't want to even talk about that, but it was like, I don't know, she did it in a really fun, clever way, in a freeing way. And so anyways, we ended up going, actually after that, I was like, hey, you guys, I was like, we should go to Oklahoma and we could have like a writing session, all of us. And it's like Nick Long, Madison Love, Henry, who's Circuit, and Jay Cash, who's, people might know all these writers are so cool. And we all hopped on the plane, went to Oklahoma, and like set up like just a studio like in the room, and wrote this song called Swallow My Tears. And we finished the other song, somebody else's. And yeah, that was it. And then I still wasn't going to put the song on the record. I was like, still not going to put it on the record.
Why? Because it was just like too vulnerable, or?
I just was like, I don't know if it really goes with it, And then I went in this is when I went in the studio with, then at that point, this record has been going on forever, but I was like, and it doesn't matter because it's art. So if it takes that long, then it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
If it never comes out, really, because the process is what I needed. Like that, I needed that process. And I ended up sending a couple songs to this guy, Scott Hendricks, who's a country music producer. And when I say country music producer, I did not grow up listening to country music. I don't know anything about country. I did not go country except for go for Blake. But I'm saying, like, I wanted to work with this guy because he is like the most eccentric, weirdo, like amazing, gifted, like producer I've ever, like, I mean, I've worked with so many amazing, I don't want to discount anyone else, but this guy is like, he's out there when it comes to like listening to music. He's like he can hear everything. And so I'd worked with him through Blake, and I was like always fantasizing that he'd work with me, but it's just weird, like Anaheim, and it didn't make, sense. But I sent him the songs and he wrote me back. I was like, Scott Hendricks just wrote me. And he's like, I can't stop listening to these songs. And I was like, are you serious? And anyways, like 4 days, because he retired, so we weren't able to work with each other, blah, blah, blah. But right in the perfect timing when I was like, you know what? I think I need to re-record this whole thing and make it a bouquet. Like, it can't just be like this. It has to have that organic live sound, like those records I grew up on when I was a kid, like in the back of the station wagon going to church. Like, it needs to be like alive people, humans. And so 4 days after he retired from his other thing, he was able to, we got in the studio and we did the whole thing in 2 days, and you would have died. Like, I mean, talk about, you love the lyrics, but like, talk about amazing musicians. I mean, these guys, like, all they had to listen was like a demo of me singing it with acoustic guitar. And then everybody like stood around like a hippies like spiritual like experience. And everybody just kind of like, based on like the sound I wanted, like they all went in and just started playing live, and we did it all live. And it was just an incredible experience. I can't even tell you. So I'm just super excited to share it.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked just there about, these songs you grew up on. You mentioned, hearing Red Corvette on by Prince, of course, on KROQ for the first time, and just being here at KROQ just to go down memory lane for a moment.
Like, freaked me out. Well, like, don't say all those things or I'll get super emotional.
But seriously though, one of your most popular records, of course, as no doubt, in the KROQ days was, of course, Rock Steady, and it's a record that we probably still play multiple singles off of every day.
Really?
And I didn't know this. I read this. I want you to confirm it or maybe share some details, that Prince actually helped on that album through Waiting Room.
Yes. Yeah, he did. It was really crazy. I mean, I remember I was in London, and it was like when there used to be telephones, like that ring at your house. This is a while ago. And I got a call, and they're like, the artist formerly known is on the phone. And basically, at that time, I think he was called The Artist. Remember how he had like different...
the symbol.
Yeah.
I don't think he was called that. He was a symbol.
Well, but it was like the artist formerly known, because you can't say symbol. I don't know at that time. But he was on the phone. He called me, and he was like, hey, Gwen. He's like, I want you to come to, Minneapolis and come to Minnesota. Do a song with me or whatever. And I'm just sitting there going, is this real life right now? Because Prince is on the phone. And I mean, I was obsessed with him, like obsessed, like Under the Cherry Moon. Like, I was a little late, like, because in high school, like, I wasn't really I was more into ska and like that kind of music, and everything popular was like kind of like, you know what I mean? I was like, it was there. But I wouldn't admit it. I liked anything outside of this like little, like, because I was like, 15, like learning this music, whatever. But anyways, long story short, his deal with us was, okay, you guys come out here and I'll help you finish one of your songs or write a song with you. And then Gwen, will be on this song, right? And so I sent him this song that we were having a hard time finish called Waiting Room. And I get off the plane. We're walking to the airport with his like bodyguard guy, this tall guy, and he's like, the artist is on the phone. I was like, and he's like, hey, I had to rewrite your song. I was like, okay. And he basically used Waiting Room. That was pretty much it. Just that title, and rewrote this whole song that he tortured me in the studio when I was singing it. It was really, really intense, like going there and being like me and you right now, and there's glass, and he's like, the next note will be, and then he'd like sing it softly, and then I'd have to do like the and there's like all these harmonies. Like, I was Wendy and Lisa, like I was that girl. Crazy. And I didn't leave the booth for like 8 hours, like just to pee, like no food.
Oh yeah, surreal.
It was awesome.
Would you say, just in closing here, would you say you've done so many cool things throughout your career, from No Doubt, I mean, this amazing TV career you've had the past decade, to your acting, of course, the roles you've had. Is there something where you look back and you go, that is the most probably surreal moment of my career, whether it's in music or otherwise?
Right now.
Right now.
Right now, having a new record, being at KROQ, I mean, it's totally surreal. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's the first thing that came to mind. I mean, there has been so many weird things. I just always think about like my purpose and like, how did God choose me? Like, because I was just this little nothing dyslexic girl from Orange County that was like, okay, I'll sing. Like, I don't even know how I got here. Like, it just makes no sense. But what is so magical and so incredible is to be able to like write the songs and be able to share them, and then I get healed, and then somebody else gets something good out of it too. And it's like, music is just so cool, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
it's so powerful. You don't even see it, you just hear it. It's just so amazing. But yeah, I feel really blessed right now.
Yeah, well, you too. Thank you for making the time, Gwen.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thanks for having me.